Question 7 is a great example of why the no reading strategy is really the better strategy. So let's just look at what the instructions are here, right? So we haven't read the passage. All we know for this question is that we should look at lines 74 to 79. And because of the rules of the test, right, we know that the +1 sentence rule means that we're really looking a sentence before and a sentence after that. So 79 here, 74 here. So we're kind of including the rest of this paragraph, maybe the beginning of the next one, to really get the context here. But that's where we're told to look. That's where we should look. So what does it say? Time is probably no more unkind to sporting characters than it is to other people, but physical decay, unsustained by respectability, is somehow more noticeable. Mr. Peters' hair was turning gray, and his scalp showed through the top. He had lost weight. Also, he no longer filled out his clothes the way he used to. The way he used to, no longer filled them out. There's a lot here. His color was poor, and the flower had disappeared from his buttonhole. In its place was an American Legion button. Apparently, he himself was not aware that there had been any change. Okay. Something is clearly happening in the next paragraph that's going to maybe undermine this a little bit. But the question is about these lines, right? So what do these lines say? Do they say he's healthy and fit? No, he's decaying. He's lost weight. His color is poor. Absolutely not. Is he angry and menacing? Well, it's definitely negative, but he's not angry. He's just old and kind of not looking too good. So that's a negative word, but not the right negative word. Nervous and hesitant. Nothing about confidence, nothing about being nervous. It doesn't match with what we have here. Aging and shriveled. Well, his hair is gray. He has poor color. You know, this fits perfectly. In fact, if you're following along and you haven't read what comes next, then this answer just seems obvious to you. How could it be any other way? But all the time, people pick choice A. Constantly I see it. And it's because the next few lines talk about how Mr. Peters doesn't act old. He acts as if he's still a young man. And it talks about like him as a young man. It's very metaphorical. We'll see it in the next few questions. But the point is, it undermines the aging and shriveled idea and supports the healthy and fit idea. But that's not what the question is about. The question is about this. But because the passage ends on this other note, you are more likely to remember that other idea if you read the passage and then go to the question. So what the no reading strategy does for us is it doesn't let all these other ideas into our brain. It lets us focus just on what's in front of us. And so in that case, we were instructed to read these lines. We do that. We follow that instruction. We don't keep going. We just look at this, answer the question, and then when the next question tells us to keep going, we do. And it lets us stay focused on what we're being asked right now, instead of bringing in other ideas from other parts of the passage. Just because it's mentioned somewhere else does not mean it's relevant here. So that's really important. And if you read those passages to start, you've got the entire passage in your memory. And that can affect how you answer the questions, and it can distract you and force you to pick some choices that just aren't relevant to the particular question. So you really got to be careful. That's why I like the no reading strategy. It's easier on the brain, and it also prevents these kinds of careless mistakes along the way. So I recommend learning it, and I got that other video about it going through the whole strategy. I recommend you watch that, get used to it, practice it, and you'll learn to love it.